my lock lovelies and future lock lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. I am Dee, otherwise known as D&M Locs, and today we're going to be talking about lint, your lock's worst enemy. Today we're going to go over lint prevention as well as what to do after you get lint in your locks. So stay tuned. So first we're going to talk about lint prevention. So a lot of people ask me what I do to keep my locks so clean and also what I do to keep lint out of my locks. So firstly, I have my hair covered like 90% of the time. When I am not outside, my locks are covered. This is because I know there are a lot of fabrics that attract lint, and then when I wear those fabrics or when I wear a blanket or something like that, it will attract lint onto that fabric, and then that fabric will attract lint onto my locks, and we do not want that. So I try to make sure that I wear a head wrap or a bonnet like 90% of the time. Another thing to think about, if you realize yourself getting a lot of lint or your locks attract a lot of lint, is to think about the products you use. So if you use products that are heavier on your locks, that can also attract lint, because when you have heavy products, that causes more buildup. And when you have more buildup, that attracts more lint. So you want to make sure that you don't use heavy products or you do a lock detox. If you don't use heavy products, and if you haven't had a lock detox in a while, try one of those, because that can make a big difference when it comes to attracting lint onto your locks. Another thing that is very important is that you do not neglect your locks. So I know a lot of people who will go and get their hair retwisted by their loctician, and then they won't do anything to their locks. Um, they won't moisturize them. They won't look at them. They won't pay close attention to them. And then when they don't do that, they go back to their loctician retwists their hair or does whatever they need to do, and then it's the same cycle over and over and over again. The next thing I'm going to say for prevention is to take care of your locks. Look after your locks. I will always look through my locks at least a couple of times a day. I know that kind of sounds kind of excessive, but I look through my locks a couple of times a day to make sure I do not have any lint or little lint pieces on my locks, because if I do, then I'll just take them right out. If I did not do that, by the time that I maybe would look at my locks again, let's say I retwisted my hair 2 weeks ago, and over the next 2 weeks, I don't look at my locks, I don't look at my hair, and then next thing I know, I have all this lint in my hair and all this lint building up, and then it's too late because it's already very embedded in my locks. So I always make sure that I pay attention and check my locks to make sure there's no lint in it. Like, see right here, this little piece can turn into a huge lint ball, and we don't want that. Next, we're going to talk about what to do when the lint is already in your locks. We're going to talk about when it's in your locks but it's not too embedded, and then we're going to talk about when it's in your locks and it's really in your locks and it's so deep in there that it's just too much, and well, I'll tell you all the details after. So if your lint is like a little bit embedded, like it's still on the outside but it's a tiny bit embedded, you can either pick it out or you can do a lock detox, like an ACV rinse or any lock detox that can help penetrate your locks more to get the lint out. Another thing that you can do if you have lint like on the top of your locks and it's not embedded yet is to brush it out. I know a lot of people are against brushing their locks, but it is very helpful when you use a soft brush. Make sure it's not too hard and just brush your locks, because that can also get lint out of your locks as well. Too each their own. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but it is helpful for some people. So try it out if you do have lint on the top of your locks. What I want to talk about next is when it is too embedded in, like when it's like part of your lock. When the lint is a part of your lock, you will not want to really go in there and take it out like with tweezers or with any, like with a pick or something. You do not want to do that if it's like in the middle of your locks. You don't want to do this because that can damage your locks or weaken your locks in the long run. So let's say I have baby locks or shorter locks and I'm like 2 years in or 1 year in, whatever, however far along you're in. But let's say I'm like 1 or 2 years in and I have lint like really, really embedded in my lock and I go to take it out like with a tweezer or something like that. Further down the line, let's say 5 or 6 years, that lock can possibly become, it's not guaranteed, but can possibly become very weak, and then it could break or there could be some type of damage. So that is a risk of taking out very embedded lint in your locks. But let's say that the lint is at the end of your locks. So if you wanted to maybe take it out the end of your locks, that's totally fine because it's the end of your locks. So it will either like lock back up or you could trim it down the line, something like that. It's just when it's in the middle part or towards the top of your head. So the main thing is you want to be on the offense instead of being on the defense when it comes to lint in our locks. You want to catch it before it happens because you don't want it to be too late and you have a ton of lint in your locks and then you're trying to get it out because it's very hard to get lint out. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I will do my best to answer any questions. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.